Hello, welcome everyone. So, a slightly different video today. I decided to talk about autism because for anyone that doesn't know, I am on the autistic spectrum. Um, yeah, and I thought I would talk about it. Most of the stuff I'll probably say is either from these sites or from my own personal experience. Um, so I've got some reliable sources here. If you ever want to look about autism and that, or any disability or whatever, I would recommend looking at reliable sources for it. So for anyone that's not from the UK, this website here, the first one is our National Health Service. So this talks about what autism is. So obviously, autistic people may act in different ways. So there are some important ones. Well, it's all important, but communication is a big thing with autism, or from my personal experiences. Um, so sometimes it can be hard talking to someone that's not autistic. Or I suppose it could be hard talking with someone autistic as well. Um, but there is some sort of communication language barrier sort of thing, because you could say someone autistic could say something to someone who's non-autistic and they could take it the wrong way. But then it happens the other way as well. It can happen vice versa. Someone who's not autistic could say something and mean it like in a nice way, but it could come across as horrible. Again, vice versa. Um, so that's one thing to always think about when you're talking to people that are autistic, or talking to someone that's not autistic. It you got to think that sometimes people misunderstand what you say. Um, that is one of the things that I struggle with, because sometimes I don't know if I'm coming across as I'm trying to come across. Um, yeah, I didn't actually, I haven't actually got anything planned. I didn't plan any of this out. This is all well, I found the links and that, and then I decided, right, I'll do something, but I didn't fully plan this out. It's just to go with the thing. But yeah, communication is something. You could say something nice, and then someone could take it a wrong, across the wrong way. Um, but um, I'm trying to think the words. um, but I think especially since I do streaming, and that, um, and other content creating, I did want to explain more, because I want to make sure people have a understanding or something. That sometimes if I do say something, I don't mean it in a certain way, or that I might accidentally take something the wrong way of something you've said. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that at the moment. Oh yeah, hard to understand about how people feel. This is this one here. About loud noises overwhelming, stressful, or uncomfortable. Um, it's not, for me personally. It's not always just loud noises though. It can be other noises as well. It doesn't have to be loud. Certain noises just yeah, it gets a bit too much for me. Yeah. Um, Getting anxious or upset about unfamiliar situations or social events. Yeah, that definitely happens for me personally. There's places like, if I go somewhere with someone, if there's too many people, or like, for example, going to, well, it's a social event, so say like a party or something. Sometimes it can be a bit too much. Or going like, people go want to, a group of your friends want to go to the pub or something. That can be a bit too much for someone not autistic. It might seem like, oh, it's nothing. It's just going out for a drink. It's nothing. It won't affect you or whatever. But it does. For me personally, anyway. Um, And it's like you feel like, for me personally, you feel like you just want to go. And sometimes it's hard, like, because also with the social battery, sorry, go back a little bit. The social battery is one main thing that I have and many autistic people have. But the thing that I sometimes get stuck, if I go somewhere, even if I've run out of my battery, I can feel a bit too awkward to say something, even though I really just want to go. I want to get out of there, and it doesn't help. It's stressful and horrible when you're stuck, when you want to leave somewhere, but you feel too awkward to go, and it's just, yeah, it could be overwhelming, and everything. Yeah, and there's obviously take longer to understand information. That doesn't always happen, but it can. Do the same things over and over. Yeah, that is something. There is also a video here, so if you are interested, I will try and remember to put the links in the description. There is a video you can also watch here that might be helpful. I've not watched the video, so I don't know. Yes, and obviously autism is not an illness. It shouldn't have to be said, really, but yeah. There's some bits there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is an important one. Autism is different for everyone. There is a spectrum. People fit on it differently. I do have an image I can show you later of like a spectrum ideas sort of thing. Oh yeah, the other names and that. Yes. Yeah. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome in 2011. Um, that term is no longer used anymore. I'll explain a bit more why in a bit. Again, it's for anyone that I hate that these sort of things have got to be said, but autism isn't. Nobody knows what it's caused by, or even if it is caused by anything. But we know some things that it's not caused by. It's not caused by bad parenting. It's not being caused by vaccines or anything. Anyone who says it's vaccines is an idiot. And it's dangerous as well. Same things like, oh, vaccines cause autism or vaccines cause this. It's very dangerous. People easily get manipulated into believing things, especially like from news things like Daily Mail, Fox News, all these sort of things. They will print propaganda and try and manipulate people into believing stuff that are not real or not true. And it's obviously autistic people can have any intelligence. It is, I don't know if Albert Einstein had, or it is believed that he had it. I'm not sure if he was actually diagnosed with it or if it's just believed that he had it. But yeah, there might be something to look up. And autistic people may have other things like dyslexia. I've got dyslexia. I've also got dyspraxia. And then you've got about anxiety and depression, which are, I think, are quite common from my personal experience and other autistic people I know. These are quite common. These three are, anyway, that I know of. I know that, ADHD is another thing that some autistic people have. I think I know one. No, I think there might be a few that I know that have ADHD. Not fully sure, to be honest. So then I've got another thing here from the NHS as well, which is sort of the science of autism in adults. I was actually diagnosed late. I was diagnosed quite late with being on the autistic spectrum. So obviously there's some things here. Find it hard to understand what others are thinking or feeling. Getting very anxious about social situations. Find it hard to make friends or preferring to be on your own. Sometimes I do prefer to be on my own. That's just me being honest. Sometimes I do. When I was a lot younger, most of the time I did have some friends, but most of the time I would want to be on my own, in my room, being on my own. Seeming blunt, rude, or interested in others without meaning to. I I do think that sometimes people think I'm meaning it and that being rude or something when I'm not trying to be. Yeah. I find it hard to say how you feel. That is honest. At least something. Like I was saying earlier with like the social events, it obviously I don't know about non-autistic people, but from my experience with having been on the autistic spectrum, trying to leave or say things can be a bit funny. It could be not funny, difficult. Maybe that's the right word. But also saying it hard to say how you feel. For me, it can also be just trying to find the words to say what you're trying to say without. Because the thing is, we're trying to talk to someone non-autistic, they may take things the wrong way. So it's like you've got to think, right, how am I going to say it? And how am I going to say it so they understand as well? Without them thinking I mean something different or think I'm being rude or whatever. Yeah. Obviously, then it goes on to talk about sarcasm, and that can be quite hard. Another thing, it can be like with jokes, can be a bit difficult because sometimes you don't know if people are making fun of you or if they're just making a joke with you, or some things can be sometimes autistic people can take things literally. So you can make a joke, but they might think you being literal with it. Yeah, so anyone that's not autistic, if you ever do a joke, I would recommend making sure that you make them aware that you are making a joke. You're not making fun of them or anything. You're just making a joke. You're not being literal, etc. Other sides of autism, so there's like not understanding social rules, avoiding eye contact, getting too close to other people, or getting very upset if someone touches or gets close to you. Yeah, this is something, not me personally, I'm talking about this bit of the sentence. For me, I'm fine with like hugs and that, but I know there are some people that don't like hugs. There's some people in the autistic spectrum that don't want to have hugs. They don't want to be touched or anything. See, I'm fine with hugs and that, but I know there's others that don't like it. Yeah. I also don't like being put on the spot because sometimes, like, so obviously there was a bit here, wasn't it? Saying how you feel. That's reminded me. There was something else. It's sometimes I being put on the spot is quite difficult because sometimes I would like to have some time to think. So if it's like a question or something, I'd prefer to be able to think about it before I respond. But when you put on the spot, you haven't had the time to think of what you're going to say, how it may come across, and all this sort of thing. So being put on the spot is quite horrible, and it's quite hard to get things across or to work out what to do. I also just did a weird thing with my hands. I don't know why, but you won't see that obviously because be using the YouTube model. Noting in small details, patterns, smells, or sounds that others do not. Yes. For anyone that watches my streams, I always pick up when my partner's microphone does a certain sound, and I know it's like there. It doesn't matter how quiet or high it is. I can hear when there's something wrong with the microphone or someone else's microphone. It drives me insane. Do you know what? Whenever I listen back to my own videos or my streams, I hear my mouse. If I ever hear my mouse or keyboard, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. Oh, sorry about the swearing. Yeah. Yeah. And there is a big. So yeah, for anyone that if you don't know if you're autistic or not, please actually see a professional. Don't just read things online or watch videos. I hate yeah, I hate when people do these YouTube videos and say, "Oh, if you have these, then you're autistic," or "If you have these, you have ADHD." Don't listen to these videos. Frankly, it doesn't matter if they have autism or if they ADHD, they're not qualified. And to be fair, you could have something similar. There are different conditions, and that you should definitely see someone professional and get fully tested properly. Right, so yeah, another thing I was going to look at is this one. This is from the National Autistic Society. This talks about burnout, autistic burnouts. Um, yeah, so managing sensory overload or navigating social situations can be hugely stressful. Sometimes it takes a lot of energy just to get through the average day. Yeah, this is something. When I refer to social battery, that's just like energy. It can take a lot. Um, really, if you're autistic, you do need to have some time to sort of recharge your energy. Yeah, I think this is one of the um issues that I have when I was at work. I don't work at the moment. I just have uni and streaming and YouTube and TikTok. But when I was working, I think this was one of the main things. I think I was running out of my social battery, my energy through work quite quickly. That is another thing I was going to bring up when it comes to work. Well, I'm not sure about education now for like for schools, but like for university and that. And when I was at school, college, and work, there's not really enough training or enough help for people that are autistic. From my experience, it's like all the places I've worked at, they've never had someone that's actually been trained to know anything about autism or dyslexia or dyspraxia or anything. It's like they say, "Oh, I know about it," but it's like they don't know enough. It's like they think they know a lot when they don't know. They basically know nothing. Because I've had quite a few managers that are like, "Oh yeah, I know what autism is. Oh, I've worked with some autistic people," and then that it's like they seem to think that that's enough. It's really not for being a manager in a place with people that are autistic. Really, managers should have it. Businesses should train managers to have an understanding of autism, ADHD, and like dyslexia and other disabilities. Yeah. Right. So then this is one. This is similar to what this is. The Harvard Health published, the Harvard Medical School. So this was something about the sounds when I was saying about the sounds earlier. This goes a bit more. People with misophonia, I'm not sure, are affected emotionally by common sounds. Usually these are made by others, and usually ones that other people don't pay attention to. So like yawning, breathing, chewing, which can create a fight or flight. Ugh, fuck. I can't. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to say again. Response that triggers anger and desire to escape. One thing that drives me up the wall is people eating. I just for me it is horrible to hear. I don't like hearing it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's like it just triggers it. It gets it just yeah. I don't know what words to use, but it's not nice. Like for people that are non-autistic, they think, oh, breathing, yawning, or eating, oh, it's nothing. It doesn't. But you don't know. It might not affect you, but it affects people that are autistic. But whether you're autistic or not, some things do affect people in different ways. Whether you're autistic or not, someone that's non-autistic might be affected by something that a non-autistic person wouldn't be, and vice versa. We're all different, and things are different, affect us in a different way. Something that might seem small or unimportant to you may actually be something big and important to someone else. But yeah, there are other things here. So it affects some worse than others and can lead to isolation as people suffering from this condition try to avoid these trigger sounds. People who have I don't know how to say that, often feel embarrassed and don't mention it to healthcare providers, and often healthcare providers haven't heard of it anyway. Nonetheless, misophonia is a real disorder and one seriously crisis functioning socially and ultimate mental health. Yeah, and there's more information here. I've not actually fully read this. But yeah, but I thought it'd be an important thing to mention because it is connected to autism. Again, so here we go. This is the National Autistic Society again. So yeah, now we're going to talk about Asperger's syndrome. Well, apparently I pronounce it wrong. It's Asper. I'm not sure. Apparently I pronounce it wrong, but the way people tell me it's pronounced, it's just yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. But it's no longer used anymore. I don't know when they fully stopped using it, but I know it has been used for a few years. From my experience, yeah. So the reason why, for anyone that doesn't know, the reason why is because the controversial it has with Hans Asperger. Anyway, so it was used for people. Yeah. So historically, Asperger's syndrome was used as a diagnostic term for some autistic people who did not have a diagnosis of a learning disability broadly. It is now agreed that this was referred to as Asperger's in part of autism. Such means no need for a separate term. Right, so yeah, so the reason it's controversial is because he was, the person was connected to the Nazi Party during the Second World War, obviously. He basically sent people off. He sent autistic children to a place for Nazis to kill them, basically. He sent loads. I don't even know how many he sent. I don't think there's a number here. He sent loads of autistic children to be put to death, basically, to be killed. So apparently it was said that he might not have known about the thing, but recent research has discredited the narrative that he weren't involved. Was aware that he was sending children to their death at the Nazi euthanasia clinic and had made statements in line with the Nazi regime murderous ideology of racial purity. There is other things here that might, if you did want to look any more. I'm going to point this out. I shouldn't have to point this out, but also National Socialism isn't actual socialism. I shouldn't have to point that out, but I know there are some dumb people out there, no offence, but that think it is. It's not. National Socialism is fascism. The Nazi Party, and that actually hated socialism, socialists. They actually killed a lot of them. They killed Social Democrats as well. Yeah. Like, if I was around in the World War with the way I am, being gay, autistic, and a democratic socialist, I would have been put to death by the Nazis. But yeah, so anyway, there's that. So there's also this. So this, I was trying to find the spectrum thing. I got it from ResearchGate. They have like articles and that. Some of the articles that are connected to that are sort of used in academic stuff and that. So there's this. It comes actually. I think it partly comes from this. You can download it separately from this article. Research paper. Sorry, not article. Research paper. I haven't actually read this. I haven't read any of this, so I don't know if it's any good to have a look at. But if you want to have a look at it, I can put a link to it as well. But I mainly was looking for something here. So Asperger's syndrome is also referred to now as high functioning autism. Some people don't like the it being referred to high functioning, because it sort of insinuates that people that are like at the rest of the spectrum are not high functioning or something. I can't remember what the person said, but then having severe probably doesn't sound good. If you don't like the high functioning thing, you're probably not going to like the fact that they call it severe. But yeah, but ignoring the labels, it is a spectrum. I'm here somewhere, because that's where I was diagnosed, but I'm not sure where I'll be in here somewhere. But anyone that's autistic could be anywhere on this spectrum here. Yeah. So we're all different on the autistic spectrum. None of us are like exactly the same or anything. Even with non-autistic people, all of us around the world, we're all different, and that. Yeah, we're all different. So yeah. But yeah, if you do think that you have autism or anything, please go and see a medical professional. There is something here, yeah. If you think you may be autistic, you should definitely see a doctor and get diagnosed. Yeah. But yeah, I will try and I will link these in the description. I'll make sure that I link them in the description. But thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. And it's a bit different from what I normally do. If you want me to talk more about me being autistic, about my autistic experience, or any of my other things, or about me or whatever, just let me know. You can let me know either in the comments, or let me know on Twitch, or in the Discord server or something. But again, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And please check out my link tree in the description below. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.